You ready? How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling great. How are you feeling? I love the hair because I think you said you were gonna twist it or plait it up. What do you have in Bantu
Girl,
knots, or you just twisted it up?
I was like, oh, maybe I'll take my plaits out and fluff it out. And like, no, I'm not doing all that. Like, it's hot here, and the plaits just gonna have to. I just did some pin curls, like little
It,
updo
it
with the
looks
plaits,
it looks
and
good.
this is what we working with today.
Speak like you love yourself. Think like you love yourself. Eat like you love yourself. And care for your natural hair like you love yourself.
Welcome to Holistic Hair Conversations, where we discuss all things holistic hair, natural hair care, and holistic natural lifestyle. I want to welcome y'all to Miss Classically Kept, also known as Maya. Is it Karen or Korean?
Corinne.
Miss Maya Karen, who I've been following a little bit on YouTube, and I absolutely love her content. She takes the absolute best care of her hair, and so I want to have a conversation with Miss Maya Karen about her hair care journey and just what she's up to in life. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Maya.
Absolutely. Well, first, I'm so happy to be your first guest. I think this is going to be an amazing conversation. And
Yay.
thank you so much for the kind words. Really, just about myself. I went to Norfolk State, go Spartans. I have a bachelor's in biology, have never used it. I started doing commercial adjusting, and now I've stepped into full-time entrepreneurship, and that does include natural hair. I am an advocate for natural hair, as you can see with your beautiful hair, and I have my hair coiffed up as well. So really, I've also stepped into natural hair commentary as well as natural hair care. And one of the things that I want to impress upon people is that we have to start the love with our young girls. If we do not raise our young girls to love their hair, by the time, in my opinion, by the time they get to that teenagehood or by the time they get to young adulthood, for some of them, it's going to be too late. They are trying to fit a mold or an aesthetic that they will never be able to obtain.
You know what? I absolutely agree with that. And of course, thank you for sharing, giving us a little tidbit about, who Maya Karen is and your background. But yeah, I share that sentiment, and I definitely want to dig into that a little bit more in the conversation if we could. So I want to kind of get a little more background on you. So when did you begin your natural hair journey and why?
So I began my natural hair journey December 22nd of 2010. I remember that specific date because that is the day after my birthday. So I was sitting in my college dorm room at my desk. I needed a relaxer, but I was 5 hours away from home. My mother told me two things. One, to never let anybody on campus play with your hair or play in your hair. And then two, never let anybody who is not a licensed cosmetologist play with your hair or do your hair. 5 hours away from home, don't know any hairstylists. And as I'm sitting at my desk, I'm realizing that my hair is getting shorter and shorter and thinner and thinner. So I just made the decision to go natural. And that's the reason why. My hair was long, or sometimes we say there is I think a standard when it comes to Black hair. Once it reaches a certain length, long hair in the Black community is not long in other communities. We often hear people say, once it past your shoulders or when it gets to your broad strap, you have long hair and you're like this unicorn. My hair was getting progressively shorter. So that's why I decided to go natural.
Okay, so 2010, so that's about a good 15 years then. About that, yeah. I think I'm coming up on, I think it was like 2011 for me. So not too
2011.
far.
Not
Yeah.
too far.
All right. So yeah, that whole thing about what is long hair, like I can't even try to reconcile, what
Yeah.
like what is the length for what is long hair, because it like you said, it varies from community to community. And I feel like so long as the hair is healthy.
Yes.
you know, all of us have different growth potentials, and we're going to have to come to, you know, we're going to have to reconcile that at some point. You know what I'm saying? Long hair, while beautiful, is a lot of commitment. It's a lot of work.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is.
And so, but yeah, I don't know what the baseline is like for long, and you know, it varies with the person, and so we're gonna just, you know, that's an individual thing, right? What struggles, if any, have you had with your natural hair?
So I can give you 3 examples. And the reason why I say 3 is because the first 2, I wouldn't classify them as struggles because I did them to myself. And then the third one is a struggle, but it doesn't have to do with me. It has to do with outside factors. So which one do you want? One of both? Or
Girl,
you want all of them?
wherever you want to go, whatever you want to share, honey. This is our conversation.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
Okay. I'll do the 3, but I'll make it quick. Okay. So in 2014, which I went natural in 2010. So I wanted every year for my hairversary, I straightened my hair once. That's it. So for 2014, I wanted to, and I was in Pennsylvania on an assignment for an insurance contract. I wanted to get my hair straightened. I was in Pennsylvania. The day that I went to get my hair straightened, I took my mini twists out. I had them in for 2 weeks. I go to the salon. I sit in the woman's chair. This should have been my first red flag. As I take my hair down out of the bun after the mini twist, she just has like this deer in headlights. She's like this. She's just standing there. That was my first red flag.
Yeah.
The second red flag is when she walks over to the salon manager. I don't know if she thought that she was whispering, but I could hear her. She said, "I can't do this." That should have been my second red flag.
Yeah.
The manager looks at her and says, "What do you mean? Girl, go over there and do her hair." So she walks back over to me and she takes the world's smallest rat comb. You know, the ones that have like the metal. Yeah. But the teeth are so close together that you can barely see through it. Yeah. She takes that. Now, mind you, doing that with hair and natural hair that's been in mini twists for 2 weeks is a complete and absolute no-no.
Oh my
Not only did she do that, but she was also trying to detangle my hair dry. And she was starting from the roots. And when I tell you I could hear my hair snapping and falling, I was at a point in my life when I was not speaking up for myself, especially professionals are involved, because you go to a professional because they are the professional. They are the expert.
You think they know what they're doing. They know more than you, right?
Now in 2025, I would have said something, but in 2024, I sat there and I let her do that for several minutes. And then finally I said, "You know what? I'm sorry. I can't do this. I will pay you for your time, but I'm going to have to ask you to stop."
Very good.
I go home and my hair just snapped off. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to flat iron my own hair. So that's when I hopped on YouTube University and I started looking. 2017 was the first time that I flat ironed my own hair. I looked absolutely crazy. 2018, it got better. 2019, it got better. Each year it gets better.
Yes.
That's, I guess, the struggle. The second struggle, like I said, I don't classify it as a struggle because I did it to myself. This was 2017. I was on another assignment in North Carolina, about 3 hours away from where I currently am. I decided that I was going to leave my hair in a top knot for 3 months and not do anything to it. So once I got off the assignment, I took my hair down and I ended up having to cut about 5 to 6 inches off. Now, of course, I was able to grow my hair back waist length. The third struggle for me, and I actually had a conversation about this on another podcast. The third struggle is, as my community is growing, I'm beginning to get points of contention. And the very first one is, I don't want to hear from you because you do not have 4C hair. The second one is, you're mixed, so I don't want to hear from you. Now, there's nothing mixed about me. I'm Black. But I know when I start going through my parents' lineage is when people start questioning me. So someone will say to me, "What are you?" And I say, "I'm Black." I've had people say to me, "Are you sure?"
Well, listen, if they asking you that, you know they be all over me. Okay.
Right, exactly. So I say it's a struggle because sometimes I feel like I have to prove to people that I am Black.
Yeah.
And that's odd to me because I've never had to do it so much as my community grows. So that's my struggle outside of my actual hair care.
Okay. So I want to circle back to the 3-month top knot.
Sure. What questions do you have?
Girl, so there are times when we just get so busy with life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we are just doing everything but our self-care. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And so I feel like, because I've caught myself there also, where I'm just like everything else but taking care of me. And so the hair can get neglected. And it's situations like that will lead some of us to believe that caring for our natural hair is hard. Because when we do have to finally sit down and deal with it, it takes a significant amount of time. Because we've neglected it, for quite some months, right? So that is something I just wanted to speak to, because normally, when we're on top of our stuff, we're at least, cleansing or conditioning and detangling our hair every 1 to 2 weeks, when we're on top of it, to keep, the tangles that are going to arise because the hair is shedding. Our hair is releasing anywhere from 50 to 150 a day, depending on, your health and all that good stuff. And so all of that is just hanging out and chilling with the ones that are still attached to the scalp. And if we're not removing them regularly, oh my God, it's going to be some time, to when we sit down and detangle it. And so stay on top of yourselves, ladies. I know it is, life can be lifing, but I'm in a place in life where I recognize that there really is nothing more important than taking care of me.
Absolutely.
Because then that will allow me to better take care of everybody else that I'm here to support and serve, right? Yeah. So we got to try to stay on top of ourselves. No 3 months top knots, y'all. Don't do it.
And when I say 3 months, I mean 3 months. I would literally in the morning, because I would let's say if I didn't have this head wrap on, it would just be the same top knot. I would put on a headscarf. I would take it off in the morning, put some water, put some shea moisture, brush it, and that's it. No washing, no conditioning, nothing. 3 months. And like you said, life does life. So whenever I'm on a contract, it's a CAT. It's a catastrophe situation, meaning it's a whole bunch of insurance claims coming in at one time. And that's not an excuse, but that's just what it is. When I'm on these contracts, I'm working Monday through Sunday, 7 to 7. And that does not leave a lot of time for self-care. And then, you want to relax. You might want to watch TV. You might want to zone out. Because I was on the phone for 12 hours. I didn't really want to then come home and do my hair. But I know one thing, I will never do that again, because I paid the ultimate price. So like you said, make sure you just set some time aside. If it's 15 minutes, 10 minutes, even if you have to do it in sections or if you have to do it in phases. I know a lot of women who are natural, especially their wives, their mothers, they do it in sections, or they do it progressively. Yeah.
I'm at the point where I'm doing it in 2 days, right? Yes. So on the first day, it's my treating and my detangling. I might get around to shampooing it on that day. So I'm treating, detangling, shampooing. And then the second, and then I'll just, put it in some twists or whatever to kind of keep it from tangling back up. And then the next day is when I'll get into whatever styling I'm going to do. That for me has kept me from taking a whole day, to deal with my hair, and allowed me to have energy on both days to really, get into it. And so, yes, break it up, figure it out, y'all, but don't give up on your natural hair. We love that. And then the whole questioning you being Black, do you feel like this is because of the type of hair that you have, or how you look? or what?
Yes to both.
Okay.
So I have, and I need to start screenshotting these comments because I know there are also people who are like, well, you look black to me. I understand that, but there are people in my comments telling me this. So I have been told, number one, it's my texture. And I've already said I do not have 4C hair. Neither does my mother. Her hair is even looser than mine. I do not have 4C hair. But I have also been told it's my complexion, and I have also been told it is my features. And I think for me, outside of heat damage, if I'm doing some self-reflection, one of the reasons why I might not wear my hair straight is because that is when I get the most questions. So I think, again, self-reflection, I think my straight hair for me equates to having to prove that I am Black. So in order for me not to be questioned, I keep my hair in its natural state.
Okay.
I think that's mainly where it stems from. But yeah, the hair, the complexion, and the features.
Okay. I got you on that. And yeah, people just have all type of ideas about what Blackness is. And
Yes.
you know, the truth of the matter is it spans, you know, we show up in all types of different skin tones, hair textures, all of it. And some of us are mixed. But you know, and a lot of us delineate between mixed and like full, like and monoracial Black, right? So yeah, I wouldn't take too much of that to heart. And I would say the only being that we ever have to prove anything to is our God. And then, you know, ourselves. Are you good with you? Right? So, because I mean, listen, me being light skinned and all the colorism, you know, that goes on in the community, I mean, I've gotten it every which way since a young girl. Like I grew up fighting behind it because people would assume that, oh, you think you're better than me, and
Yes.
you know, all of these things. And it's just like I didn't get to choose how I came, the package I came in. I don't think any of those things, right? So I just stopped trying to defend it. It's like, this is where you guys are. You know, you guys are projecting negative things about color and texture and Blackness that you have internalized. You're projecting that onto me. And Godspeed, right? I just can't. I don't even get into it. No.
I think for me, because I've gotten it all my life, but I think for me, where it bothers me most is when I started creating content and people are questioning my authenticity. That's my issue. When I'm outside or before YouTube or before Instagram and someone would ask me, are you Black? And I say yes, and you ask me, am I sure? I would just, you know, okay, fine. But it's when people question my authenticity. I had someone say to me, I feel like you don't want to tell people what you are so you can sit on the fence and you can bring in the mixed women and then you can bring in the Black women. So I think for me, it's more so people questioning my authenticity is is my issue.
Right. And I definitely get that. Like when you put yourself out there, you unfortunately are going to attract some love and some hate. You know, so it just is one of those kind of things, like I said, where you just kind of got to recognize those people still have some growing to do, right? Like you don't have the right to try to tell me who I am and, you know, and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And, you know, this is this negativity. And so I practice like an internal like boomerang effect. Like when the negativity comes, it's like, boop, back at you, gone. Like I'm just not even, I can't, you know? But it's taken me a while to get here, right? So, girl, try that out because it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. The more folks that you know you are exposed to, we just gonna have, like I said, some love and some hate, and we have to, you know, we know that the negativity is over here, but we focus on the love, and sometimes the negativity can serve to have us do some quick self-examination, right? Sometimes, right? Like criticism can be helpful in that way. But once you've like okay, yeah, no, that's not me. That ain't me. You know, I'm done with that, right? So it was that. There was one other thing. Oh, about the you don't have type 4C hair, so I don't want to listen to you. I want to say this, to everyone that may see this. As a professional who has worked with all types of hair, all at 4 and everything in between, 3, 2. I even would do some ones every now and then, but I was primarily for us. Right? That's who my services are for. Generally speaking, the 4s in each category, they're generally handled the same in my chair. Okay, so in terms of like products and products and care and methods, I would generally treat them the same. The only thing that may have a slight variance is like when I'm dealing with like some low porosity versus high porosity, right? Okay. But in terms of general care and styling products, detangling methods, all that's the same in the categories of 4, 3, 2, all that's the same. So y'all don't stress so much about 4C versus B versus A. Like it's corny, it's kinky, it's that. And then the 3s have their things, their unique characteristics, and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to speak to those 2 things just a little bit. Now I want to ask you, have you had any struggles with your self-image related to wearing your natural hair? And I heard you mention, not wanting to straighten it as much because people are projecting that you're mixed. But is there anything else?
That's it. Growing up, my mother always instilled in me that my complexion was beautiful, just the way that it is and was. And the reason for that, I think she put an emphasis on it. I would say kindergarten through about elementary school, I was typically, if not the only one in a classroom, the only Black child, the only Black girl. So it was never a conversation, or she would never say to me, they are better or you are better. Both of you are beautiful, but it's unique.
Okay.
So the skin complexion, and then of course my hair, because if, for the average Caucasian girl or woman, their hair is going to be straight or it might be mildly wavy. So again, growing up in those neighborhoods and growing up in those areas, oftentimes I would be the only one. So she just wanted to make sure that when it was a play date or when she would pick me up or when I was in my classroom, we're different, but we're all equal and we're all beautiful.
Yeah.
So outside of the straightening the hair, I've never had any self-image issues.
Okay. Well, I love that. And it definitely does start at home. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
Getting that affirmation or not, as far as, what, our self-esteem and whatnot, so your mom did a great job with you on that because she probably already knew what was coming out there in the world,
Yeah.
So wonderful. Okay. So let's see. So you didn't really have any. Okay, great. So, because I was going to ask a different question about overcoming any image challenges and stuff. And so since we're chatting about you having reservations about wearing your hair straight because of other people's projections, are we, kind of thinking maybe that, are we kind of rethinking that, or, you still feel like, I just don't want the questions, I'm going to just keep my hair?
That I'm still processing, but the other part of that really and truly is the heat damage. But I also don't like straight hair. That's the other thing. I love big hair.
Yeah.
I straighten my hair once a year. After I do about a couple of hairstyles, I'm bored. And those are even with rollers. I still want some type of body.
Yeah.
So outside of the self-reflection part, it's the heat damage. And I really don't like straight hair. So no, I'm not thinking about it anymore. Not thinking about straightening it anymore. Now, I do keep my hair stretched. I started doing that in 2024. But as far as like running the flat iron through it more often, no, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I will never forget it. I had a client who, she had been relaxing her hair, for as long as she could remember and, wearing a bob. And I was like, okay, but she wanted to transition she wanted to go natural. So she came to me, so, we can, I can help her get there. But I asked her, well, why do you want to go natural? And she said, because my hair is boring. I cracked up. She said her hair is boring. Like it is just straight and flat and it's a bob. And she's over it. Like she just wanted something else. And, wanted to see what her, wanted it to be exciting again. And like, that was her reason. And so she didn't want a big chop. She wasn't ready for all that yet. So we transitioned her, but the boring thing like stuck out to me. And so I don't particularly, I don't have all the fancy fare for straight hair either, because it's a whole lot of work. It's just extra work. Like, okay, so now I done washed it. I done detangled it. I now got to, instead of just being able to go to whatever my natural styling is, now I got to blow dry it. Then I got to flat iron it. Then I got to try not to sweat, take a hot bath or shower, go swimming. All
I have to dodge water. I can't sweat because for me, unfortunately, one of the first places that I begin to sweat is my scalp.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah.
In 2023, I did a 30-day straight hair challenge. Day 9, it was all these curls with straight hair. Yeah. And what did I say? The world is just going to have to accept it. I'm not going to go back with the flat iron and re-straighten my roots. It's just going to have to be puffy. I don't care. The sleek look is not for me. It's just not.
It's not.
It's not realistic because I also live in the South. And my son plays football. So, and football season is in the summer. It's not realistic. It's not.
Yeah, it's going to be all types of sun. I mean, the sweating, it's not. The humidity, it's just not. And like I said, it's just extra work. So for me, I just be like, okay, like I wet style most of the time, some braids, some plaits, some twists, just, my coils most of the time. Because like even the stretching is like an extra step. So I commend you on that, because I'll be like, girl, she be in there with that Rev Air, honey. I just cannot. I cannot. But I do realize that for, a lot of us, it helps to cut down on like, knots and tangles, when you stretch it and, all that stuff too. And so, it's a trade-off. But the whole straight hair thing, to y'all straight hair naturals out there, bless you. For, taking all that extra time and all that, because I ain't got it. I ain't got it for it. And doesn't sound like Maya has it either. Okay, so let's see.
I do want to add one thing, because I know someone is going to clock it. You mentioned the Rev Air. I use the Rev Air on the cool setting. Because I know somebody's going to say, well, I just like you don't like heat. I use it on the cool setting. And then whenever I go for a trim check, I will do low. And then my hairstylist will run a regular blow dry or conventional blow dry through my hair on low setting. Okay. That's the only time. Any other time you see me using the Rev Air, it's on the cool setting.
Oh, cool. Very good. And that's the best thing to do, because, the more heat, the more we're, dehydrating, we're sapping moisture really quickly out of the hair, and then run the risk of damaging the cuticle. So, with doing this repeatedly, which will weaken the hair and it will break. All right. So very good. Cool stretching is what Maya does. And I'm here for that. But that's too much for me, girl. I ain't doing it. I blow dry my hair maybe once a year. Maybe. And that is to trim and do a good little lymph check or whatever. Maybe, because sometimes I don't even do that. I will just, I know how to, part and section my hair and comb through and, trim it in its wet state, because I've been doing it for so long, for so many people. I was trained that way in cosmetology, wet cutting. And so, but I just did it. I just blow dried my hair a couple of months ago in March. And that was the first time in 2 years. In 2 years. Oh, wow. 6 years. Because, girl, I don't like all that time. I just don't like spending all that time. But, I was like, okay, girl, you're doing good up here, because it does help you to better see, you
Yes.
know, what your ends are doing and how your
Yes.
density is faring when you stretch it out. Like you can see it a lot better than when it's in its coily or, you know, curly state. So it definitely has its benefits. All right. I want to know now, are your loved ones positive or negative towards your natural hair?
So initially, when I was going to go natural, I was sitting at my desk. I called my mother. She had already been natural because she was in remission. She did have breast cancer. When I called her, she was gung-ho about it. She started looking stuff up and started talking about things. My father, I called him to warn him because I didn't want it to be a situation where I showed up to his house and he was like, "My Corinne, what is going on?" So I would probably say that was the first time for me when I made a decision without my parents, but I was just letting my father know. Now everyone loves my hair. And when he saw me for the first time with my natural hair, he was like, "Oh, okay." So much so that he was pulling on it. I'm like, "Daddy, what are you doing?" But I think my father thought that in the mornings, I was just going to take my headscarf off, roll out of bed, and then leave the house.
Yeah, no.
Some people have this idea when it comes to being natural that we don't do anything.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, I do more to my hair being natural than when I was relaxed. Because I remember telling another family member I'm going natural, and they said, "Oh, okay, so you're going to do the lazy thing." And I didn't understand that statement then, but I understand it now. And I'm just here to say that there's nothing lazy about being natural.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there's nothing lazy about it.
It definitely requires setting aside some time. You know what I'm saying? And for those of us who are not there yet, it's a lifestyle mismatch. We have not reconciled that we're going to spend some time taking care of ourselves. Like, just start with that. Just start with that, honey. You're gonna spend a little bit more time. So that's good. You know, your parents were overall pretty supportive, curious, whatever, but you knew how to like approach it. Girl, for me, I was the first one in my family to like really go natural. Like my mom had cut off her relaxer, but she had been wearing her hair very short since then. So having to like deal with a bunch of hair and actually know how to care for it. That there was no experience with that. So I was the first one. And I will never forget, like my mom, and I had it in a twist out, and my mom was like, "Girl, you need to go do something with your hair."
Yes. Yes.
Like,
You need to go do your hair.
Like, lady, it is done. Like, this is how it's supposed to look. It's not going to, lay down and comply. That's not what,
It doesn't do that.
Type of hair I have. Like, but, over time, they all got used to it. Like, my sisters, my cousins, my close friends. And then they just silently started shifting, started, asking the questions, started getting the product. Yes. Some of them I would even do their hair, like I would allow the client relationship to enter. And so it was interesting to witness. Okay. Now, is there a significant man in your life? And if so, how does he feel about your hair?
There is my husband. We got married in 2021. He loves it. He doesn't do makeup. He doesn't do fake nails, eyelashes, weaves, wigs, extensions. I remember I came back from a makeup mock-up of what my wedding makeup was going to look like. When I walked in the house, that man gave me the stink eye. So no.
He's like, "What are you doing? Like, where is my one? Okay, I don't recognize this person."
And then his mother called him and he was fussing about it. So he loves it.
Oh, that's great. That is great. I feel like it is so affirming when, the person that you are, having a interpersonal, romantic relationship with affirms you in your natural state, just how you are. Because then you don't feel the need like some of these women to get up before them and go put on the face and tousle the hair, like all these things that folks be doing to just feel beautiful and accepted. because the people that they're with, you know, like to see them a certain way that isn't aligned with how they naturally are. And so I think that that is wonderful. It is affirming. It is healthy to have a partner that is like, what is all this on your face? Like, ma'am, I want to see you. I want to see your hair. Like, I want to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I had a partner who, when I met him, I was in my weave phase. This was right before I went natural. So I want to say maybe like 2007, 2008. I was in my weave phase, but I was one of them that would go every 2 weeks and get the maintenance. So I ain't, you know, like I would go every 2 weeks, let her shampoo it, let her, you know, tighten it up. Like, girl, I'm not running around here with no 2-3 month old situation. Like, you still got to take care of yourself. But we started dating, and he was like, how come you don't ever wear your own hair? And I was like, because it's short. Different. I was like, yeah, because it's short. And he was like, I don't care. I just want to see your hair. I came out them weave, honey, and never went back. And so he was very like supportive of the whole transition. Like, and believe me, I look crazy sometimes, but it was
have that awkward phase.
Yeah.
I would have that awkward phase.
Yeah, I don't even know how long I would have been, you know, still doing all of that if he hadn't questioned it. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies, get you somebody who just loves you as you are. It'll make it easier. You know, it'll make it so much easier for you to, you know, go further down your journey and feel affirmed and loved and supported.
I have a girlfriend that was given an ultimatum.
What was the ultimatum?
As in, relax your hair or we will no longer be together.
So what did she choose?
Oh, she's divorced.
Choose you, girl. Always
she's divorced.
You. I mean, because I'm sure that we know that wasn't the only issue, right? Like,
no, it wasn't. But that's not going to help.
That's not
because you're going to consistently make comments about it, and then she's going to internalize that.
Mm-hmm. So. Absolutely. Well, I'm proud of her, happy for her, because if someone's trying to control you to that degree, like there's definitely deeper issues that, you know, show up in all type of other ways. Always choose yourself, ladies. If you can't be in the relationship, in the space, and show up as your full and authentic self, really evaluate if that's a space for you. Right? We should not have to be contorting and shrinking ourselves and, you know, all these unhealthy things for acceptance. And I'm not just talking about a relationship, but if it's there, you know, get on that too. Okay. Will do the opinions of your loved ones impact you emotionally?
For hair, no.
Okay.
For like a situation, a debate, an altercation, a disagreement, yes, but for hair, no.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is.
Right, and say it again, and I'm all right and good with it, right? So yeah, I feel you on that. Let's see. So what is the best compliment that you've received about your natural hair?
So the best compliment I received in my natural hair, and I will never forget it, was college. It was a former boyfriend. That is not who I'm married to today. But I went to an HBCU, like I said, Norfolk State, and I was in the homecoming show. HBCU, the director of the fashion show wanted all the women to have long, straight hair. So I got a weave. Worst experience of my life. That was the last time. We'll never do it again. I remember coming off of the stage, and my former boyfriend, he gave me my flowers. He was like, "That's great. When are you taking it out?" For me, was the best compliment because he loved and cared for me exactly how I was. Yeah. That was the first thing he said to me. He handed me the flowers. He was like, "That's great. When are you taking it out?" Best compliment.
I love that. Okay. Now, has wearing this one is common for a lot of people. I hear it so much. I used to hear it so much when I, was behind the chair servicing women. Has wearing your natural hair ever cost you job opportunities?
I've heard this a lot as well. Fortunately for me, it has not affected me. And let me explain why, because I've heard it as well. Commercial cat adjusting, you get the call, you have to be there 48 hours to handle the claims. We're dealing with very significant storms. You sign the contract before you get there. So when you show up, they can't just say to you, well, we can't hire you. Yeah. You haven't done anything to, what's what I'm looking for, to void the contract. So they can't, when I show up, they can't say to me, hey, we no longer want you here. The contract is already signed. When they see me, I'm professionally dressed, but I also have natural hair. So for me, it has never cost me a job opportunity, because by the time I get to the contract site, by the time I get to the commercial site, the contract is already signed.
Right. The ink is dry.
Ink is dry. Now, if I'm sitting in the chair and they're like, well, she does terrible work. Okay. But when I get there, the contract is already signed. But I've heard a lot of women say that as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was a real thing. And I felt for them because they hadn't gotten to a place in their life where they would seek opportunities that honor them and align with them versus contorting to have employment. And so, we would do the best we, hey, we'll make it look professional. We'll make it look coiffed, we'll make it look acceptable to, this environment that you're in. And hopefully and you could feel good about it. I didn't do any much straightening. I would do, I would do some, I did have some straight hair naturals, but none of that heat training. Like we're not straightening it to the point that we're losing coils or kinks. We're not doing that, but wearing it straight occasionally was something that I did offer to my clients. And, but we have to maintain the integrity of the hair, because I am not the stylist that you can pay me to damage your hair on purpose. It just,
that's relief.
Yeah, it would never happen. So it's like, so you're going to have to, be okay with it's going to revert. This is how you need to style it and maintain it at night so that you can have some semblance of, silkiness, but they would know exactly what to do. But yeah, we're not heat training, not over here. No. Now I want to know this. Do you use raw natural hair products or like synthetic containing products, or a combination?
Combination. Right now, I would say about 50-50, and I'm trying to pull back on the on the synthetic. So for my shampoo, I am using a mild cleanser by the name of Mbunu. I'm absolutely loving it because it also is a detangler. It has amazing results. For me, flaxseed, we are not friends for whatever reason. Everybody keeps telling me to try it. We're not friends. So I'm using Mbunu for a mild cleanser. Okay. For length retention and moisture retention, I am on a Shebe journey. I do have my tried and true, which is the Shea Moisture Curl Enhancing Smoothie. But the results of the moisture retention are day and night. Yes. So once I'm finished the Shebe journey, I will start incorporating Batana oil. I'm very excited to try that. And then as far as like Ayurveda, I love doing Ayurveda as well. So there are still some synthetic products like a heat protectant and things like that, but I'm trying to pull back and trying to be as natural as possible.
Well, that's good. I love that you're in the combination space with it, because I can say, just from experience and having ingredient knowledge, that the higher your quotient of natural, all natural ingredients, the better condition in your hair overall. And so whatever, drying or damaging effects that may occur by using certain synthetics, and I'm not going to say all of them cause it, right? But whatever damage to the cuticle may occur with the regular use of synthetics, the naturals will mitigate that. and they will
Okay.
actually even heal and reverse it, given if it's the right combination of ingredients and given enough time. So I love that you're on a combination, because those that are highly synthetic, ooh, the hair is a wreck. It is a wreck. It is breaking. It is thinning. They are not happy. They're feeling like natural is hard. And it's like, no, sweetheart, we got to change out some of these things, because the products that you're using are not serving your hair. They are robbing your hair of its natural luster, of its, it's changing the texture. It's messing up your cuticle. Like, it's doing all those things. And then there may even be some health stuff underneath, but the hair is just not doing great when there's a low to no quotient of, like, all natural, ingredients in the regimen. So I love that you're at least on a combination. And like I said, I know that you are meticulous with this Shebe journey. I'm like, you go, because I just like, I'm like, I'll be trying to get in and out. I want to say I probably spend about 4 to 6 hours every 1 to 2 weeks doing my hair. How many? How?
That's actually about the same. So I wash my hair every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. My wash day is a wash day. Mm-hmm. I've heard people say to me, you need to wash your hair once a week. I don't have the life where I can sit in my bathroom every Monday for 6 hours. Yeah. I don't have that lifestyle, but I can do it every other Monday. And it runs about 6 hours. Yeah. That's for wash, blow dry, deep condition, and the actual application. Right. So whenever it comes to the Shebe mixture, I do it every 5 to 6 days. The reapplication takes about 2 hours. Whenever I use the Shebe grease, that's every 4 to 5 days, and the application takes about 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So we'll say 8 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that extra, lubricating and applying the Shebe definitely will help you. Is definitely helping you maintain more density, because yes. Like that right there is an extra added, like, treatment, keeping those strands lubricated and reinforced. And because a lot of times, we're losing, density to just, mechanical damage and, yes. these products and stuff. And so we definitely have to, if we want to maintain the maximum density as we grow, regularly keep it lubricated and, reinforced with these ingredients. And so hats off to you, girl, because I ain't at that level yet. Like, I'll do some, I'll do my weekly or bi-weekly treatments, and it can vary. It can be anything from, like, coconut milk and honey and aloe to, like, just a tea rinse and some oils. I'll do that. But doing it every, like, 5 to 6 days and all that stuff like you do, girl, bless you. Meticulous. I love that for you. Now I do, because I'm like, I wish I had the time or just the desire to be all up in my hair like that. Like, no, I've got to a place where I'm like, I'm gonna spend the time, but I'm gonna do it in the most efficient way, so that I know I'm taking the best care of it, but I needed to be efficient. But I know you wanted to particularly experience if Shebe would make a difference for you in your hair. Yes. And I know it will. I definitely know it will. So I'm like, I know what it do, and I'm good. I'm good. Okay. So have you noticed any differences in your hair since incorporating more, like, holistic products in your regimen?
Yes, the moisture retention. And I think I spoke about this, but the moisture retention for Shebe is amazing. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we all fall off the bandwagon. Oh, yeah. Even within my year-long Shebe journey, which I have extended to coincide with my trim schedule. So I've extended it 2 months. Mm-hmm. Life happens, you get busy. I said earlier, I reapply my Shebe mixture. I'm supposed to on a schedule every 5 to 6 days. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I have gone 8 or 9 days and my hair is still moisturized. So I'm always going to advocate for holistic. I'm always going to advocate for natural. because I also stopped using detangling tools. I felt like I was using them excessively. I stopped in April of 2024. So we're past the year now. But the moisture, the shine, and just how easy it is, manageability, I will say. Frizz, I could care less.
Yeah, right. Like that. I mean, that's gonna happen. And strangely enough, the more dry your hair is, the more it will frizz. So if your hair is hydrated and balanced, I mean, frizz is just, you know, a component of type 4 hair, period. But it will be more prone to frizz if, you know, there's cuticle damage and it's dry, because it's trying to, it's just more open to moisture. It's trying to get that. So that's great that you notice a difference when incorporating the Shebe in more holistic practices in your regimen. So prior to us setting up this conversation, I sent you a copy of my ebook. And I want to know, what is your biggest takeaway from the ebook? It's called Natural Hair, Natural Life, Your Guide to Flawless Natural Hair Care and Non-Toxic Natural Hair Products. What's your biggest takeaway?
I actually have 6, but you want the biggest one?
I want whatever you want to offer us.
They're quick, I promise.
Yeah, no, I want whatever you want to offer us.
I actually printed it out. So I'm going based off of the page numbers that they were printed out for me.
Okay.
So the very first one was your natural hair story, which was on page 2. I love conversations about, or women's stories about how and why they go natural, because we all arrive from different places. So that's the very first thing. The second one is page 10, when you talked about the broccoli seed oil. That is intriguing to me because based off of what I read, and you can correct me, that might be a natural heat protectant.
It is. It definitely is. It performs like a silicone, but it doesn't build up on your hair, and it actually fortifies the strands and allows the hair to get what it needs, kind of similar to how other oils that penetrate the strand will do. But it is very non-greasy at the same time.
And you have that, don't you?
Yeah.
In your product line, I'll be buying that.
The
next one is page 15, which is section 8, the ingredient concern. We are all aware of what happened in 2024 when it comes to Maya. I'm not going to keep harping on that. I've done several videos about it. I even spoke to a lawyer about the lawsuit. Yeah, I love that section because, let's say, for instance, a lot of people don't have the time to do the research. And I love the fact that your book lists all of the most common concerns. So let's say, for instance, I'm at Target and my favorite hair care company has released a new collection. I can take a picture of the back of it and I can just reference your book. Yeah. Or if I'm on Amazon, I can screenshot, or they typically screenshot, and I can have a reference. And like you said in the book, it's a comprehensive list. It's not exhaustive. Right. But one thing I do want to point out was your section about parfum or perfume. That can mean so many different things. We just need to be aware of that. Yes. Also, what a lot of people don't understand or maybe know, a lot of the ingredients, and you say this in your book, that are approved here in the US are banned so many other places. So I really appreciate section 8. And then of course, section 9 for me was page 31, DIY. We'll be trying all of those. Yes. Yes, that section is actually new to volume 3, because in volume 2 I had some DIYs where I list the recommended products by hair type, right? So for people who want to make their own conditioner, make their own protein conditioner, I had them up there in that section with the recommended products by hair type. But then I was like, let me reformat this and just give the people a whole section of DIYs from, everything that they might need. Because, folks were asking also in between. They're like, oh, yeah, this is good, girl. Do you think you can teach me how to this? Can you? And I was like, So that spoke to you, huh? Yes, it did. I will be trying all of those. Good. I'll try them in stages because my husband has terrible allergies, and I was on like this fenugreek kick, and I actually had to throw out everything that I use with fenugreek. He's allergic.
Oh,
So I'm gonna have to be careful, but I'm trying all of these.
okay, fantastic. I love that. At least it was like, oh, this sounds like something I might want
Yes.
to, do.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next one is going to, oh gosh, this is a whole conversation within itself. Genetics, terminal length, and hair length.
Yeah.
I did a video and I've never given on the internet, I've never given my full opinion about genetics, but I'm aware of terminal length. I'm aware of before menopause, during and after. I'm aware of terminal length. I'm aware of medication. I just have a very different opinion when it comes to genetics, and you mirror what it is that I say. And most people will say to me, well, you can say that because you already have long hair. All I'm going to say to that is, when it comes to the Black community, when it comes to Afro textured hair, is it solely genetics or is it bad hair care practices that have been passed down? And that's basically what my opinion boils down to. I never said genetics does not play a role, but it is not the end all be all.
Correct. That is absolutely positively correct. And, me having that cosmetic science, right? That cosmetology science knowledge, but then actual having real world experience, right? With different women, in knowing about their journeys and, their practices and, even my own, it's like, yeah, it's more to it than that. Just the
Yes.
same way that we get these talking points that like diseases run in families.
Yes.
Well, the other thing that run in families that is more than likely causing the diseases is the diet, the lifestyle choices. And so we have to be willing to examine that if we want to, have a different outcome. So yeah, genetics play a role, but they don't play the biggest. They don't play the biggest role, especially if you want to throw in diet and then hair care practices. Your genetics can be positively influenced. Absolutely. All right. So
and then I have one more.
Uh-huh.
And I know this is very new. The synthetic hair.
Oh, girl, yes. All that started flying around. I was like, while I'm updating it, let me go on in there too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, I have never used braiding hair. Like I said earlier, I did use the weave, horrible experience, and that was back then. This is today. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because we need to begin to be very diligent when it comes to the things that we are using to the extensions or what we're using to enhance our hair and our hair products. But that stood out to me as well.
Okay. Yes. All right. Well, so would you recommend the book to others?
Absolutely. Not specifically, but one of the main reasons, like we talked about, the ingredients. Not everybody has the time to do that, to literally sit and look at each ingredient for a hair care product. This will definitely help. And a lot of the things that you listed are in a lot of our favorite products, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, I would absolutely recommend it. It's also an easy read.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like I try to be comprehensive but concise, right? Because nobody, like, I'm one of them people that be like, okay, get to the point. So, my material is going to reflect that. But I did want to make sure that I'm covering, like you said, the most common ingredients that we're going to find in these products that are marketed to us, because we have to be vigilant. We have to be safe. And the other thing that I like about the reason why I wanted to make it an ebook is because too, like if you download it to your phone, you can just screenshot the ingredient section and just, you know what I'm saying, do that too. And when you're out shopping, you can also do it that way. But I was researching Black-owned vegan brands, because in my mind, I'm going to write this book and I'm going to be able to, recommend our Black-owned brands and, keep that coin circulating, keep our hair in health and best condition. And the more brands I researched, like the more I started to cry because I did not expect to find as much in certain brands that I found You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that they were cleaner than they were, and it wasn't. And so it really limited, what I could recommend, and because where my health standards are. But then I did include some that have like minimal, ingredients of concern for people who want to manage their exposure instead of just cut it out altogether. But yeah, that was a sad day when I was just like,
It was probably so disheartening.
it really was, because I love us. I love our hair, right? I want us to be healthy so much. And just the fact that a lot of our own natural brands are just following the path of all these bigger brands and, putting in all these toxic things. It's just like, come on, y'all. Like we have to do better for each other, for ourselves. So yeah, that broke my heart that day. Then the next day I was like, okay, girl, get back on it. Just keep looking for, some more that really are meeting the standard, that are safe. So thank you for that. I'm glad that you had several things that, spoke to you positively about the book, and that you find the value in it. It's been affirming, because I've gotten, a lot of good feedback from just, people I don't even know. Honey, I put the book out there and they're like, oh my God, thank you. So that enables me to keep going with this work, because it's against the grain, it's against the grain. Like, you poo-pooing on our hair products and like, girl, I want you to have hair in 3 years.
But you know what, though? That goes back to what we briefly touched on, which was the synthetic hair. I remember when we first met and we were talking about this off camera. So we are now aware that the top 10 synthetic hair care companies or braiding companies that are being marketed to Black women and just women in general, all of them came back with toxins.
Yeah.
There was a young lady on TikTok who has since gone viral, who made a short talking about who told you to test. That is disheartening for me, because with someone like yourself or with someone like me and with your book, now you are informed and you can make an informed decision. Are you going to continue at the detriment of your hair for a certain aesthetic or for a certain look?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that your first idea or thought was who asked you to test, you want to live in ignorance.
Yeah.
You want to live in ignorance. So when your hair is damaged, you can say, well, I didn't know, or shame on that company for marketing this to me. You have been informed.
Yeah.
Because it was all ablaze on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. There are several natural hair content creators that have started talking about it. And of course, you're going to have your naysayers and talk about the findings and things like that. But you have now been made aware. Now it is your turn to make a decision.
Absolutely. And the hair is one part of that, right? We're talking about the hair and the damage that can come to the hair and scalp. But above that, we're talking about your health. We're talking about carcinogens in these products. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is not just an aesthetic thing that we're, sounding the alarm about. It is your health, and the toxins are coming from so many different places. But specifically when we're talking about the braid hair, these are carcinogenic chemicals that are used to make this hair, that is used to treat this hair. And they chilling right up here, often. It has more of an impact than just, drying out and thinning the hair and irritating the scalp. And that is what we need to be absolutely clear about. Like, is it worth increasing your cancer risk to wear this hair, to use this particular product? Is it worth it? Because all them relaxer lawsuits are flying around now.
Yes, they are.
And if we don't make some major changes, it's going to be happening within the natural hair community behind, you know, these products. I mean, well, it's already starting, right? It's so like it's spreading the awareness. Is like, hey, y'all, like we might want to go a different way, because these things are not only wrecking a lot of y'all hair, but they're harming your health. And so cancer in your 30s ain't normal. You know what I'm saying? It didn't used to be, but now it is a more frequent occurrence. And we have to be willing to look at all the things that are contributing and evaluate how much reverence for my own life do I have, you know? Is this the path that I want to continue on? So thank you for bringing that up. So like after 15 years of being natural, how do you feel about your hair today?
Oh, I love it. I fall in love with it more and more every day. For me personally, I find doing my hair very therapeutic. I try to impress upon people, natural hair is not complex. It might take a little bit longer because of thickness, because of length, but any of the tips that I give, they're not complex. It's just going to take a little bit more time depending on how much hair you have and how long your hair is. But I love my natural hair. I'm never getting a relaxer. I'm never getting a texturizer. I'm never getting a protein treatment. I'm never getting the texture release. I love my hair for what it is. Yeah. Does it frustrate me sometimes, or does it not do what I want it to do? Absolutely. But that's when I throw on a head wrap and go about my business.
Right. Like I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a break.
And that's it.
Oh, here.
That's it.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Somebody reached out to me not too long ago. She's a stylist, and she was saying that she, you know, is going to start. She's going to go into this do this trichology program, but she's also doing some research on how the psychology of how not wearing your natural hair like affects your self-esteem, like affects you psychologically, because. Yes. She said she had one client that her husband has never seen her natural hair. Like she, you know, wears wigs, wears weaves, all these different things. And her husband has never seen her natural hair, and she won't let him see her natural hair. And so that just kind of like piqued something for her. It's like how it must affect her esteem, you know, like where like you feel like you have to hide from one of the people that's supposed to love you most. And I was like, no, you spot on, boo, because I mean, definitely do your research on it, but it does have an impact. I mean, do you have anything to say on that?
Since my community has grown, and I did actually have a conversation with another natural hair content creator, the comments that I get on particular videos lets me know, because natural hair is already a journey within itself, but your mentality through the journey before, after, and during plays a huge component. If you do not accept your hair for what it is, for what it never will be, and for what it can never do, you will never be able to get to the ultimate health of your hair. Yeah. You have to be able to look in the mirror and say, this is me. I am beautiful just the way that I am. Mentality plays a large or a huge role. Sometimes I think even larger than we understand or acknowledge. It plays a huge role. And I think that's what stops a lot of women. Also outside factors, social media, comments, experiences, but the within, the internal. It's a huge, I think there's a huge mental component to it.
Yeah, I 1000% agree. And I'm one of those people that if I could just wave a wand and disappear all forms of added hair from the planet, human and synthetic, I would do it.
Gosh, the girls would not like you for that.
Girl, they already don't like me for so many other reasons. So let's just put one more on the list, right? Like I would do it. All the hair, all the synthetic hair, the human hair would go. it would just disappear. And those of us that are in a healthy place with our self-esteem, whether we have hair or not, would be all right. You know what I'm saying? With our self-love, like we'd be fine. It's the ones that don't feel as beautiful and whole and complete without some form of hair that would be in the struggle. And I feel like that is a journey that everyone should just take themselves on. Like I'm one of those people that like, honey, you want to cut the hair? You want to shave it? Do it. Do it. Take all the hair away and then just be with yourself so that you can reconcile your ideas about beauty and femininity and worth. You know what I'm saying? And you have more time, you know, to not have to fret about your hair. But do it. So yeah, I'm not here for the, and I know people have illnesses and, you know, things that take their hair and, you know, all this stuff. And that's not the easiest journey to be on. And so, you know, these hair adornments and wigs and things are there for people who want to cover that up and still feel, you know, their idea of beautiful. And what I want for all of us is to get to a place where you can just looking in the mirror on your worst motherfucking day. It's like, I still love me. I'm still beautiful. I don't have no hair today, or it's a hot mess today, or it ain't, you know, whatever. But this is me. This is, you know, where I am on my journey. This is how Creator made me. And I love it. That's what I really want for us all.
So, question for you. When you say you want to get rid of all the weeds, wigs, and extensions, is there like a certain range or a certain texture, or you want all of it to go away outside of the toxins? If there was a company that could come out with kinky, coily extensions without the toxins, you want them to go away too, or just certain ranges?
Bye.
Okay.
One, they can't do it. One, I know that for a fact. Unfortunately, you know, just even in the process of having to treat and create texture and you know, store this hair, the toxins are gonna be there. That I already know. But that's one. And so I'm definitely not an advocate for anything that's gonna put our health in harm's way. But two, it's about self-acceptance. Just okay, wherever you are with it. Are you bald? Are you, you know, you got thin, silky hair, you got, you know, thick, kinky hair, you got you long, short, whatever. Self-acceptance, right? And adorning in a healthy way. That's what it really is about for me. So all of it can go. And then we have other things, more money to spend on other things, right? We're not buying hair. Like it, honey, bye, all of it. Goodbye. So so y'all lucky that this ain't Amina's world, because And so even with my clients, right, the ones that would want to do weave, you know, the weave had to match their natural texture, or I would not do it. Girl, listen, they be tussling, like we like, okay, well somebody else could do it for you, like you could book somebody else and they would do that. But if you want to, if this is about learning how to love and care for your natural hair, because that's what I'm here for, then I'm going to do everything that I can to support you in that, which means we cannot be going too far off in the crochet braids and the, you know, we can't do all that. Like you're going to have to wear your hair a certain amount of time out of the year. Like these are just things that were required when working with me. And majority of the women in the meeting, they were okay with it, because they came in wanting someone to help them care for their natural hair. It was the ones that just wanted to look natural but wasn't about that life yet, that would be like, they would be mad. I'm like, okay, well, you know, we don't have to do it, sweetheart. Like you could do something else. You could find somebody else. I love you. Okay, so did you notice an increase in people around you wearing their natural hair once you started confidently wearing yours?
I did, yes. So my best friend in college, I remember we were sitting in her car and I said to her, listen, you're beautiful. You're going to be successful. You're going to have kids. You're going to get married. but in a couple years, you're going to be bald. And I just, that's just how I said it. Because at the time, she was still getting relaxers, but she also used to love to color her hair. And for the short time that I knew her, I could see her hair, because I had been through it. I could see her hair getting shorter and thinner and shorter and thinner. She is now natural. And then I had 2 cousins go natural. So yes, I do think I have had an influence around some of the people around me.
That's awesome. That is amazing. Because ultimately just it is supportive of your health, you know, right? So I think that is fantastic. Do you believe that long hair is synonymous with femininity?
I do not. I think that is more of a cultural standard. Do I have long hair? Yes. Do I want to keep my long hair? Yes. But there are women who have short hair who are beautiful. We're all aware of Halle Berry. I believe Angela Bassett in 911. She wears, I believe, a short cut as well. So no, I don't.
That's fantastic. And, you know, I feel like it's important for women to hear that, because some of us, for a multitude of reasons, will not accomplish the long hair dreams that we have. And we need to understand and know that length is not a barometer of femininity. It is not a barometer of beauty. You are the beauty. You are the feminine. And, you know, however you choose to show up. And when we show up in ways that are affirming of who we are and healthy for ourselves, and loving, that to me is beautiful. Yeah. So what is one positive quote or personal mantra that you tell yourself to keep the self-love flowing?
It pops up on my phone every day.
Oh, I love this.
And this is since 2023, when I was let go of my last insurance contract and stepped into full entrepreneurship. So it says, don't let your fears take away your dreams. You can do this.
All right. Very affirming. Don't let your fears take away your dreams. You can do this. I love that. I absolutely love that. Have you ever heard FEAR as an acronym for face everything and rise?
I have not. You made that up?
Nope, that's one I done came across somewhere, you know, in the interwebs, and I was like, I like that. Face everything and rise. And then there's a not so positive, you know, spin on it. False evidence appearing real. Which is, you know, like things we make up in our head, or, you know, stories we tell ourselves are false. But you think it's real, you know, and that kind of creates fear. So, but I like that, face everything and rise. And I definitely love your self-love mantra. That's fantastic. So what holistic hair and lifestyle practices are like a regular part of your life?
Scalp massages and just massages in general. I love a massage, and scalp massages, absolutely love them. I will take an essential oil, and I dilute it, of course. I will turn on one of my favorite channels, or excuse me, one of my favorite shows, and just massage.
Oh, that's amazing.
So massages all around, and foot massages as well. Love a good foot massage. Whole body, but I love the head and I love the feet.
Yeah, I am a massage girl also. Like, as often as I can get some form of full body therapeutic massage, I'm on the table because it's just so healing when, you know, when the massage is good, you know, when you have a good therapist. Oh yeah, it's necessary. Do you have any particular essential oils that you favor for your scalp massages?
So right now I am doing pumpkin, I'm doing neem, and I also like rosemary. Now I know there's this controversial thing with rosemary, but I do the scalp massages when I'm getting ready to wash my hair. It doesn't just sit on my scalp.
Yes. So yes, got you. And to that point, unless you have a rosemary allergy or are allergic to any of the plants in the rosemary genus, there's, as long as it's properly diluted, you know, it's fine. It's totally fine. So just people know that, like, rosemary was not the problem. The formulation was the problem. The formulation was the problem. When we talk about that other company's oil that was inflaming people's scalp and taking folks' hair out. Okay, but yes, pumpkin is lovely. I love pumpkin. I haven't worked with neem much yet, but I know it has some good benefits.
It does. Neem is more on the Indian Ayurveda side. I know a lot of people like ashwagandha, and I believe that's more on the African side. And then I know on the Ayurveda side, I love Bing Raj as well.
Okay. I haven't. I've heard of it, but I ain't got all up into them yet. Are there more holistic practices that you intend to include in your life in the future?
There is. I know this is going to sound weird, but I want to try acupuncture. But for whatever reason, cupping scares me. Like I've seen the aftermath, or I've seen people after they've taken the cups off and like down their back, and it just. I think I can handle acupuncture before I can handle the cupping. Sounds weird, but I would love to try acupuncture.
No, I get that. It doesn't sound weird to me at all. I've never, have I done acupuncture? Oh yeah, I have had a couple of acupuncture sessions. The cupping, I've done cupping once. Okay. I know people who swear by the cupping. They just look like it hurt, like, I mean, and it didn't hurt while I was having it done, but then after because the blood gets all sucked into the places and it's localized, it's definitely a little tender. But I don't like walking around looking like that.
Right, yeah,
like it. So the cupping was like, I don't have to do this one anymore. I'd rather get some other ways of drawing the blood and all that stuff to the areas I wanted to go. And so acupuncture can definitely be an alternative way, but so can massage if you were, having a specific type of massage done, like, lymphatic drainage and things like that. Deep tissue, like, there's just so much lovely massage. Like, I love massage. Okay. Now, this question, I feel like is a good one for everyone to like give some thought to, because the world, I'll be like, we on Earth is ghetto. Earth can be so ghetto. So if you ever imagined a harmonious world, what does that look like to you?
Oh gosh, that is a loaded question. Collaboration versus competition is, I think, where we can start. I think within our community, the way that we communicate and the way that we talk to one another is so unfortunate, so disrespectful. I think if we can just sit and to begin to have conversations about that, I'm not saying it's the total solution. I think some of the animosity and the violence would actually go away. We have people ending lives because of some of the things that are being said to them.
Yeah.
I think that's a start. And it just the way, and when I'm talking about women, I'm talking about Black women. Okay, let's just put it out there. The way that we talk to one another is very unfortunate. It's very disrespectful. It's very combative, and it is very condescending. If there was one thing that I could change starting out, would be how we talk to one another. Okay.
I love that, because you're spot on with, when it comes to a lot of folks out there, there's just it's like a void of respect, a void of kindness, a void of softness, and it's a hard thing. And a lot of us just are in such survival mode, and we've come up in environments that are heavily toxic, toxic behaviors, that we are hard and we are unkind and we don't know how to show up any differently. And so, yes, being able to like tap in and have conversations about, all right, this is what you said. Now, is there a way that we could frame this more positively? more respectfully, so that what you're intending to convey is still conveyed, but it isn't disrespectful. It isn't unkind, right? Because the way you handle each other, determines if it's going to be a positive interaction or a negative interaction. But even on that self, how you handle yourself, right? We got to start like each person, because like there can be people out there just going all type of wrong and disrespectful. And I was at a place in life where if somebody was rude and disrespectful to me, I'm going with you. Yep. We're going, right? It's a whole this. Now it's like, okay, I see you're having a moment. I'm going to let you have that moment. And you're not going to get me out of my center. I hope everything gets better for you. And I sincerely mean it. I'm not even like trying to be funny or condescending, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, okay, sis, like you're clearly having a moment. And it was not my intention to make you feel that way. Like I can do that now, but a past version of me, oh, honey.
You were ready to go.
War. Do you hear me? So we have to do our self-work so that we can come to a place where we're better able to handle each other,
Yeah.
And so I love that. So
can I piggyback off of that?
Yes, of course.
So very polarizing figure, before I say his name. Are you aware of Dr. Umar Johnson?
Ma'am. Who is not aware of Dr. Umar?
A very polarizing figure.
Yes.
I don't agree with everything that he says. He makes very good points. But one conversation that he was having, I cannot remember what podcast he was on. I completely agree with him, but I've never thought about it this way. He basically said that as Black people, or just our community, and we were talking about the disrespect or how we talk to one another, we show up to spaces and to environments almost expecting the disrespect. So we show up ready to disrespect, and I'm paraphrasing, or we show up with that wall up or with that guard. We show up basically ready to go.
Okay.
And when he said that, I said, you know what? I've been trying to figure out how to verbalize that. And he said exactly what I've been thinking. So it's almost like you go into the situation expecting to be disrespected. Yeah. Therefore, you go in yourself being disrespectful or you are on guard.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I can agree with that. Like a lot of us are walking around on the defense, like ready to go, because like we're so used to verbal and emotional attacks. We're used to it. It's like I said, we're coming up in those environments that are riddled with a lot of toxic behavior, and so we're ready and not feeling safe, just not feeling safe. And so I'm familiar with Dr. Umar Johnson, and I will say the brother can be very prolific, and I feel like how the broken clock is right 2 times a day.
Yes,
that's how I feel about him, because there's other things that I'm be like, sir, like we need you to pull the things together. Like the community has been waiting forever and a year on things that have yet to be delivered, and you can't do us like that either. You know what I'm saying? But I rock with him on that. Like I said, he does say some things that resonate, which is a huge part of his draw, right? Because people are like, okay, yeah, I see that. Like, so yeah. But thank you for sharing that. We do. That defensiveness, that just being ready to go, that not feeling safe, I think it's a product of growing up in environments in which we weren't safe. We're getting verbally attacked, we're getting emotionally attacked, we're getting physically attacked, by people who are supposed to love us, but they don't know how either, right? And so then it permeates out into every space we enter in relationship until we learn how to create that safety within ourselves. I feel like, at least that's been my experience. So yeah, thank you for that. Now, is there anything else that you would like to share with the people? Anything at all?
Just two things. So we're all aware of the content creation. I am beginning to put together an event. It is called Love Your Curls. And basically it's just we come together as mother and or caregiver and daughter. I want the young girls to know that their natural hair is beautiful just the way that it is. And I want the mother and or, the caregiver to know that with the proper tools, natural hair doesn't have to be hard. And then the second thing is I'm also stepping into product entrepreneurship, and I'm going to be coming out with my own head wrap line.
All right. I love that. I love that. So hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit more details about the event and, put it in the description or whatever, whenever it's ready, we'll just update it and share it in the description with people. And then where can we connect with you?
So I am on Instagram and I'm on YouTube. I am not yet on TikTok. Any mentor that I speak to, they tell me I need to get on TikTok.
Yeah.
Not quite ready to get on TikTok. I've heard some stories, but I know I need to get there. But I am on YouTube and I am on Instagram.
Okay. And is the handle all Classically Kept the same?
It's all Classically Kept. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, that's fantastic, girlfriend. I have enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for showing up and just agreeing to do this with me. Like, I think when we, chatted before this, I just really want to create a space in the virtual natural community where we can, come and, share our hair stories, share our love, share, our experiences and just, give each other some positive encouragement and support. With this segment, it is my goal to bring a positive, holistic, focused conversation to the natural hair space so that we can all have the most emotionally, physically, and spiritually healthy journey possible. Loving on and giving the best possible care to our hair that we were born with. And taking one step closer to living this earthly life as the highest version of our divinely created selves. So if you would like to join me for a conversation, do get in touch. And we will see y'all on the next one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, Maya.
Thank you for having me.